welcome back. After our first video on Sorrento, I want to invite you to follow me to Barcelona to learn some of the architectural highlights of the city in Catalonia, until we can travel again from Italy, where we are now, to go to the Ramblas in Barcelona and walk along admiring the Art Deco fountain. Some time might go by, so let's use this time to learn more and to enrich ourselves by following me in this short video about the architectural highlights of Barcelona, from Gothic to Gaudi. We'll start in the center of the city, where most of the ancient buildings can be found, because Barcelona is a layer cake of architectural history. And where the black dots are the really old buildings, and later we'll move out and see some of the modernism. We start in the Barcelona Gothic, which is the oldest quarter of the city, admiring the Gothic facade of Sant Eulàlia's Cathedral. She's the patron saint of Barcelona, and the building was constructed back in 1298. First, we'll visit the cathedral inside and then go into the courtyard. This is where, in 1493, Native Americans were baptized under the coffered ceiling. So after we visit the cathedral, we'll move into the courtyard, where you will be surprised. There are 13 geese that live there, and they were symbols of the saint, so they have free range throughout the courtyard. Near the cathedral, you'll find some of my favorite museums, which are also in historic palaces. The first is right here in this courtyard. It's a collection of art and sculpture and minor collectibles, but the nice part is there's also a cafe where you can sit down and relax. Nearby, in another group of 5 palaces, is a museum dedicated to the early works of Picasso. Here we see a portrait of his mother. A new area further out from the old center has very wide boulevards, and along one of these boulevards, you can see it as you are arriving, the towers of Gaudi's Sagrada Familia, which is another cathedral and a work in progress building site since 1883. Beside this church, this huge cathedral, Gaudi was famous for his park, the Parc Güell, that is very special. It should have been a development of 60 villas, but after the park was built, the villas never were finished, but he did construct buildings, apartment buildings in this area later on. Here we can see one of them. It's Casa Batlló. That was 1906 was the date of construction, and its fantasy-like features are famous in all architectural history books. The mosaics, like the ones he used in the park, the iron balconies, an absolute splendor. The one I prefer, however, is this undulating apartment building, wave-like. This is called Casa Milla, for the Milla family, but most people call it La Pedrera, which means the quarry, for the size of it. It's huge. And he did everything in this building, from the outside to the interiors, even the rooftop chimneys, which remind me very much of Batman masks. Here it is inside. I took a few photos inside to show you even the walls are curved, something unusual for the period of 1910. The doors, the furniture, everything was designed by Gaudi. And these are the original furnishings that a family would have had who bought one of these expensive apartments back in 1910. So we see everything, how the people lived, the kitchen, the bathrooms, and the upstairs attic area. When you walk along through there, it's like being in the belly of a whale. Here is everything, including the kitchen sink, you see, and the maid's apartment. So this is where the wealthy Barcelonians would want to live back in 1910, which was the high point of the city's importance. After you've seen the Gothic period and you've seen some of the houses by Gaudi, you might want to jump on hop-off bus and explore the newer areas of Barcelona. You see there are 2 different routes that go further out into the outskirts of the city, where you will find lots of changes. Now, when I went to visit in the mid-60s, 1960s, this round building was the bull arena, where you would see the bullfighting, and today it's been changed into a shopping center. And many of the modern architects have taken clues and ideas from Gaudi and built modern apartment buildings that are similar, use some of his ideas. Here's one with there's an actual vertical garden with lots of trees growing on the balconies. Lots of public buildings are amazing. Only in Barcelona have I seen buildings like this. Notice this Palace of the Catalan Music, which is a theater, but it's very rich. Its decor is a perfect example of Art Deco. And if you're interested in football, you might want to visit Camp Nou, which is a gigantic stadium for calcio, soccer, football, whatever you call it. And last but not least is this modern Mercado di Santa Caterina with its roof that is spectacular. And inside you'll also visit and see how what the people eat. Oh, speaking of food, these are things that you have to try when you're in Barcelona. These tapas, the mini plates with different appetizers, snacks, and then get right down to the most traditional plate of the paella with seafood. The changing skyline of Barcelona. Every time I go back, I see something new, that unexpected, extremely modern. My last visit, I noticed this tower by Jean Nouvel. And then in 1992, Santiago Calatrava was commissioned to set up this sculpture called the Olympic Flame, because the city was hosting the Olympics. And Frank Gehry's amazing building in the shape of a fish. It's made of golden colored steel mesh, and I really would like to see the inside. It's kind of hard to imagine it being a building. And as you go further out in the newer section, in the Barceloneta area, and along the sea, you'll see more modern apartment buildings and office buildings. Here's just a few of them. There's the Marina, the Center, the Forum. And next time we go back, we might see even other modern buildings that are being put up. Now, if you want to be more aware of the history of Barcelona and Catalonia, I suggest these 3 books on your reading list. We have time now, so let's enrich our knowledge of the history of the city and of Spain with the book by George Orwell, which is from the 1930s, The Ghosts of Spain, that travels through the country's hidden past, and our Irish author who gives his homage to Barcelona. So that's what my recommendations are for Spain, for Barcelona. If you're interested in Italy, remember I'm the one who writes about central Italy. Here's a panorama of some of the books I've written about this area near Rome, near Florence, near Tuscany. And you can also go on my blog. There's 5 years worth of blog posts to celebrate my 50 years in Italy. My website, and when you do come, I have also audio guides that you can use on your own to visit Viterbo and Civitavecchia. And subscribe if you like this little talk of tips about Barcelona. Other ones will be coming up. And you can follow me on Facebook, on Twitter, and also on Instagram. And this is my Gmail, how to contact me. So we'll see you again for another visit to another port, to another area of Europe.